Hey, affiliate traders, Jason Fladlin here. I wanted to show you something today. I wrote the first draft of the swipes for you for the promotion that we have coming up for social covers. And less important is the technical part of the emails and on the copy that you see on the screen here today. More important is a process. So I have 16 pages here of material, and I kind of want to show you how I can create stuff so productively and prolifically. I will give you some tips on how to leverage and best use this, as well as let me just get crazy and throw in an extra bonus insight into some of the strategies that I'm going to suggest to you for promoting social covers. But here's the thing that I want to show you with first. None of this is proofread. There's probably 150 spelling errors and grammar errors in this thing, but I hand those over to other better team members to figure those out. But what I do is I organize myself in a way that I can enter into a state of flow. State of flow is one of the most powerful concepts to be effective, to be productive, to be profitable. And so I put this together to show you what this looks like. When I finished the other day, it's 1:26 p.m. This was on a Wednesday, and I had 4,100 words. This is 13 pages, it says here, because I go back and I page break every day or every email gets its own page break. So that's where 13 ends up turning into 16. And how long did it take me to write those 4,100 words? By the way, this isn't easy writing. This is persuasive writing. It is a high-level writing skill, so it's not just Dear Diary type of stuff, right? It says 11:56. I know that's not exactly true because I looked at the version history of my Google Doc. I think I started at like 11:49 p.m., but for whatever reason, it didn't start really tracking until 11:56. But regardless, let's just call it 11:50 to get from 11:50 to 1:26 p.m. So I basically wrote for 106 straight minutes. And when I was done, I had 10 emails in the whole sequence of promotion created, and now able to then send it over to the team to format it to you, to edit it, to tighten it up, to slightly modify and make clearer some of the things that I was writing. Because my philosophy is when I write. I don't think. I don't pause. I stay in the moment. Don't worry about how it could land in the future. And I try to hone in on what matters. And so spelling mistakes don't matter because anybody could fix those. Laying out designs so people can understand them, that doesn't matter so much. What really matters is getting the clicks and the emails and setting things up. Now, in this particular instance, here's how I'd organize this. Is I sat down and I broke up each day first, and I chunked it out so I could do anything. So the first thing I did was just write Monday and then the date, subject, which I left blank, and then signature here, which would be your signature. And then I copied and pasted that and turned it into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, next Tuesday, and then there's 2 emails in that Tuesday. That's the first thing I did. Second thing I did is, and I don't have these anymore, and I don't want to revert the changes because I'm afraid I'll screw it up, is each day I wrote one sentence for the lesson or the big aha or insight that I wanted to teach in that email, the paradigm shift, if you will, that puts them in the right positioning to then want to buy. In the concept of Mondays, for example, you're going to see is reason why. So when you have a compelling reason why for somebody to give you money, it makes it a lot easier for them to give you money. And that's what's one of the things that Social Covers has that I think is really powerful, and that what we're going to teach people on the webinar is hey, just cover my costs and I'll give you the rest of these covers. It's going to be super natural for a local business to be like, oh, here's $300, right? But I don't reveal that specific, but I get that frame of mind to set that up so when I reveal it in the webinar, it's really powerful. Tuesday, my concept was showing up with value in advance. That was the theme of the email. It's easier if somebody can say, whoa, that's helpful to me, than you trying to convince them, or you take a chance on them before they take a chance on you. That was the concept, so I set that up. Because again, what we're going to teach on the Social Covers webinar is you build one of their 15 social covers or whatever the number is for them and say, hey, I really like you as a business. You are awesome. I wanted to give back. I'm in the digital marketing field, so I made a cover for you. And then you say, if you want me to make the other 12 covers for all your other social media sites, just cover my cost for $300. That's the general thing I'm going to show people. Really powerful concept. I'm not doing it justice here. But that's a concept of value in advance. You say, hey, I've already created this thing for you. Do you want it? And oh, by the way, if you want more of this, then here's a sweetheart deal for you. So I'm setting that up in the email. So that was the theme of that email. And then the theme of the email on Wednesday was, I know one of the objections we're going to have to this product is, I'm not a local marketer, or I don't do services, or blah, 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 right? So I talk about the limitations that labels provide, where people will step over money that whatever, just because they don't identify with it. So I repatterned, or attempted to at least, everybody to step into this new label called ethical money getter, which will then make them congruent with wanting to purchase what you have on the social cover. So there's that concept. So that was the whole email. Each day I come up with one main hook or angle, or as I call it, a paradigm shift, and then I go. This one is, I broke down 100 minutes per week into 14 minutes and 17 seconds per day. So this is the ease of the use of this system. It is truly not a lot of effort involved. It's not going to make you $1 million, straight up, right? But it is a very slick little mini system that can start producing money for you. So I worked that angle on Thursday, Thursday, right before the webinar, to get them in there. Friday is reason why. So the principle of reason why in a marketing, the reason why somebody is making you an offer is so critically important and so misunderstood by so many marketers. It's a very esoteric, high-level concept, so I wanted to talk about it, but I wanted to frame it in a very practical way. And so I'm framing this here in the way so it's an objection from the customer of, I'm not a good salesperson, I don't trust my own abilities. But if you have a real easy built-in reason why somebody should pay you money, then it becomes really simple. So this is reason why here. I think the first one, I'm just thinking out loud here, so let me jump back up to the top real quick. The perfect excuse to pay you is similar in nature for the reason why. So kind of redundant, slightly different, but it's the same kind of takeaway. But only difference here is this is the day after the webinar. So this is the new frame in which they're looking at it. And Saturday I talk about the concept. So the hook here is benefit at a glance. That's what I've come up with, is if you can design something so people instantly see it and want it as soon as they look at it, that's a huge marketing advantage for you, because you don't have to spend a lot of time. It's self-evident, et cetera, et cetera. So I actually played on this two ways, where I talk about how visual content is way more engaging. And if you're prospecting people, having something visual that at a glance they're like, ooh, I want that, does double duty. So I combine those two together, kind of piggybacked on them. And that was the big hook to that. All of them is just put them in that mindset to be receptive to the material that we're showing on the webinar to get them to then purchase social covers. So you see that there. Sunday, I talk about this other marketing concept of relative comparison. People tend to only evaluate value compared to something else. So if we can influence that comparison, we can influence the outcome for that person in terms of saying, wow, this is valuable. But again, I break this down in a very specific way. And one of the reasons I wrote this email was because not only does it feel like they get this leverage with this system of social covers and do really well, but it's just a huge benefit of what the software specifically does. When they say, well, here's your covers now, and there's only like 2 of them, the rest are missing, and the 2 that they have are horrendous. Here's what they could be. And that sells the system so well. So I'm leaning into a big benefit, but I don't hit it head on. I set it up first, and then I let the webinar reveal it. So I tease it. I'm like, there's a way that we do this. This is one of the most powerful reasons why this system works. And I'm like, I got to see it in action. Monday, the big focus here is that there's a downside to this system. It's not all rainbows and unicorns, that you'll probably cap out at a certain period of time. Now, some of this is reverse psychology. I want people to say, Jason, I'm going to make more than 7,000. And so change the mechanism from, I don't know if I can make 7,000 to, let me prove you wrong and do better than 7. So that was the theme there. And then Tuesday, this was last day final stuff. So this is where I become very direct, where I just say, here's all the reasons I think you should buy. And then the Sunday, or the final Tuesday email, is I just went back through every other email and pulled some hooks and angles and then stitched them together, such as value in advance, such as a solid reason why, not cold calling but warm responding, and I just and the angle of this isn't the unlimited usage of the software goes away. We've negotiated with David Sprague to this be the last time that they do something. Here's the cap. So I just combined everything into one narrative from the whole story, and that's the emails. Okay. So there was a lot of technique I showed you. Hopefully you can see how some of this can be useful outside of just copying and pasting these emails in or adjusting them to your voice to mail to your list. But I just designed a lot of copy that, and somebody's in here right now editing it because I just finished off sending it to them. A lot of very high level, very effective copy, and I did it in 106 minutes, I think. I was exhausted afterwards. As soon as I was done, I went for a hike to clear my mind, and I was pretty wore out, but I did in 106 minutes, which would take most people who are so-called professionals a week or maybe 3 days or all day to do something like this. So the reason I bring this up to you beyond giving you the insights of social covers, of some of the angles and why they're there, which will, I think, help you be able to promote, if you can step into them and expand upon them and repurpose them in other media and other content to put the message out there further. But just state of flow. State of flow is very simple. You intend it. So you say, I gave myself, I knew that I could do this in 2 hours or less. I literally told my family, I said, here's what the schedule looks like. I'm going to write from between 60 to 120 minutes. That's my flow time. Afterwards, I'm going to immediately go for a hike. I told them that. Because when I get back, then we can go to the store because we've been cooking every single day from home. It's been really nice. It's been a nice activity from the family. So they kind of given them my layout for the day, but they know those 60 to 120 minutes are my sacred time. And I don't know how quick it will take me, but I have a feeling that it won't take me any longer than 2 hours to accomplish. I can't go more than 2 hours. It's just too taxing. So I have to get it done in 2 hours or less. And I knew I'd probably land somewhere in between, depending on how much inspiration or where my muse took me when I was writing, which there is no muse. I just sit down and you write to write, to begin. I think that's what Wadsworth said. And I batched. I went bam, 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 bam. Wrote the subject lines last, by the way, because those are a different type of writing. I organized each email, came up with one concept for each day, and then I set it out and wrote. And that's what a system looks like. And you can do that with anything that you want to do. But these small, focused sprints to accomplish things are the key difference between success and failure for a lot of people. So if you want to do any sort of marketing, break a task down and say, I'm going to give myself between 60 to 120 minutes to do it, uninterrupted, let everybody else know that this is my sacred time, enter into a state of flow, be in the moment, don't think about the future, and then figure out a way how it gets done at a good enough, acceptable outcome for you to move forward with it. And you do that enough times and you will be pretty much unstoppable. I mean, I've lived the last 10 years in this kind of mode, so I always have a system I naturally gravitate towards when I want to create anything. So there's that. Last thing, bonus tip is for social covers, you get access to the product. I don't have access to it, hilariously enough, but I'm waiting on it myself. But I do have access to their old slide deck. So if I can, you got the recording. It's in Slack. It should be if it's not already. But the one thing I want to show you about this is you get access to this system, meaning this system that you can do yourself if you want to. I don't want you to spend too much time on it. But if there was ever anything that you could do to output something and then show somebody, I built this cover, even if it's a cover for your own Facebook page, then you can point to it and say, I built this cover using this system. And they're like, whoa, wow, you're good at this. If you did it, then I could do it too, right? One thing I love is this super cover, as he calls it, where you build one cover and then it creates everything. So at the very minimum, I suggest every single one of you build some sort of cover on some social media site if you have that presence. And if you don't do that, if you're purely not social media, you can still build one to show as an example of, I did this in X number of minutes using this software and I don't even know what I'm doing, kind of a concept, right? Then it validates that you understand the software and that you have some experience with it. And I think that experience will actually sell you on being excited to use this product too. Now, if you want to try to land a customer or two or go out there and prospect, even if you don't get paid customers, you can say, listen, I tried this strategy, which is in the recording of David's webinar. I tried this strategy, and this is what it's done for me so far. I already got these businesses lined up. They're already interested. I've already experienced this, yada, 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 right? Go for it. Just be responsible with your time. Because if it's between using the software and promoting it, I want you to promote it. It's going to be better for you if you do that. But if you can use one to leverage the other, even better. The last thing I'm going to tell you on this one is, this isn't the one I want to show you. This is over here. So you can see it's so funny where I'm at. I always take my last presentation, which is product creation secrets, and duplicate it, create the new presentation template. And not always with this strategy, but often now I'm working backwards to where I started with the call to action slide. And you can see I just copied and pasted and tweaked it. I haven't even came up with the new URL. I don't even know if I like those arrows or not. I'm not exactly sold on it. But I made the master slide. So I already know what the offer is and everything. So I make that what I call the master slide, which is the ultimate sales slide that has everything and everything stacked up. And it's like they see it all at a glance. Oh my God, what a good deal. Wow, exciting, right? I build that first sometimes. And in this case, I did that because I felt it would work best from a promotion standpoint. But what I want you to do is watch very closely of where we end up in terms of David's webinar, which is pretty good. Don't get me wrong. He did a really good job. But his approach and his angle of how he sells this from start to finish, watch that replay if you get a chance, even if you've got to watch it in 2x speed, of how he sells it, how he sets it up, versus how I'm going to set it up. And if you kind of want to see a side-by-side, just even on the design, right? Some of the things that I did already, just what I know consciously about good webinars from the call to action slide is nobody cares about the logo that much, so the logo shouldn't be that big. So I made the logo smaller. People love to use the word payment. It creates a negative connotation in most people's mind. So I don't use it, just $297. So I put that in there. Testimonials. Everybody seems to not want to use them, or they underuse them. I use them like crazy. Even numbered pricing is less believable than specific pricing. And a lot of this is just made to taste, so I reassign certain values because there's not, I reassign certain values to the things here that aren't necessarily already assigned. Just cleaned it up visually so it's easier to see at a glance. I put some eye candy right now because I didn't have anything else to put there. I might change this in the future of what the product is itself. And I got rid of a lot of all the other noise because this was something I was sharing with somebody else the other day, a really big name person in this business about webinars. We tend to bury the call to action. And ideally, you should always make this the biggest font. The biggest font size is your URL that you want them to go to. And having phone numbers and support and questions is okay, but it tends to pull people in 3 different directions, so it can be confusing. So we generally don't do that unless we're doing mega high price points. Then we might want to bring the phone in. But unless we have a good phone team trained, which is rarely the case where you can get ready for that, it doesn't work that well. So there's that. Last thing is we talked to the guys. They've been wanting to change it from unlimited for quite a while. And we suggested that to them as well from a sales perspective. I might share this technique with you another day. Unlimited software access actually can hurt sales. Usually it does hurt sales and conversions. Yeah, I know, paradoxical, right? You give them more, but you sell less as a result. Now, the way we counteracted that, because Will and I are really good at this, is when we make unlimited an event, then that changes the game. So we negotiated with David that this is the last time ever anybody gets to offer unlimited, including them. And so now it's an event. So this is a huge scarcity angle that you should leverage, is that unlimited usage of this software. This is the last time ever anybody could ever use it. So as extra motivation to you, I want you to make sure the people that you can help know this and can buy this system. Because if they find about it later, they don't get unlimited anymore. Okay? Cool. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I'll talk with you soon.